reverse engineering stealth technology. But before long, that group was working stealth technology.
Stealth is one of many astounding technologies developed over the past 60 years. Since the 1940s, technology has progressed at a seemingly exponential rate. Transistors and microcircuitry have revolutionized electronics. Advances in aviation materials allow our planes to fly faster than was previously believed possible. But did we do it alone? A landmark event coincides with the beginning of the technological revolution. Was the timing coincidental, or is there a connection? July 7th, 1947. A flying disc is alleged to have crashed at Roswell, New Mexico. Witnesses have testified that the object was immediately taken away by the U.S. Army.
You believe that there must have been a crash somewhere along the line, or somehow we acquired one of these vehicles.
Technology items suddenly burst onto the scene in 2 or 3 locations at once. Like they've all been fed some seed, to make it grow, and they all come to similar conclusions.
What pieces of technology?
Fiber optics were reported in the early crashes. They didn't call them fiber optics, but they looked like glass wires or something. Invisibility. We had lots of reports that UFOs were flying along, being chased, and suddenly they're gone. They check with the ground, they get ground track radar on it, they have aircraft visual and aircraft radar that you could not see.
Many technological advances being unveiled today were described years ago by UFO witnesses.
Just recently, it was said that they can make a tank look invisible by projecting the image behind it in front of it. You can't even see a tank sitting on the ground.
British defense researchers recently made a tank invisible by projecting the background image onto a special foreground surface. UFO witnesses have long reported craft apparently disappearing in front of their eyes.
You were there. What was the scuttlebutt in that community? Were people talking?
The guys talk about things of very unusual nature to each other, but they don't talk to people outside of that community. The special access community is a very close community, and you will lie, cheat, or steal to protect it. And it's necessary to be that way.
Would you have heard any rumors? Who's got what?
I would not say that on camera.
I asked him straight up, okay, well, people, who've you talked to? Who's got the stuff? Who's got the goods? Where's this craft being kept?
You don't want me shot, do you?
And he basically said, no, I can't tell you that.
Schuessler is certain that reverse engineering of downed UFOs is being done secretly.
There's just way too many advancements coming out, and people don't really know what's going on behind the scenes.
Advanced technologies have long and complicated histories, making it difficult to trace their development. But one aviation expert has noticed striking similarities between a UFO and a revolutionary U.S. aircraft. March Air Force Base, Riverside County, California. Aircraft journalist Bernard Toinel has studied the sudden invention of the SR-71, more commonly referred to as the Blackbird.
The pièce de résistance of the Cold War.
Lockheed designer Clarence Kelly Johnson defied all conventional aeronautical design when he created the SR-71. Its flattened shape and tapering sides reduced its radar signature to a minimum. Aircraft of comparable size to the Blackbird appear on radar screens the size of a flying house, but the SR-71 appears the size of just the front door. Even more astounding, Kelly achieved this effect 25 years before the stealth fighter was unveiled. It was the first craft to be comprised mainly of titanium, and one of the first attempts in stealth design. Where did Kelly Johnson's advanced ideas come from?
That blended wing fuselage, the stubby wings, and the huge tail surfaces, a plane that by right shouldn't fly.
You're saying that the designer of the SR-71 was inspired by a UFO sighting?
Johnson had 2 verified encounters with UFOs and subsequently filed reports of both sightings.
Was his sketch of UFO the first blueprint of an SR-71?
In December 1964, the SR-71 was unveiled. Its Mach 3 cruising speed, titanium airframe, and revolutionary stealth technology astounded aviation experts. But some wondered if these advances were somehow related to designer Kelly Johnson's reports of seeing UFOs. Johnson died in 1990 without answering the question.
Kelly Johnson conceived really the aircraft from A to Z. He conceived the U-2 the same way.
Now, Clarence Kelly had a UFO sighting.
November 15, 1951, Agora, California. Johnson witnesses a strange object in the sky with a swept-back flying wing shape, unlike any known aircraft of that time.
Suddenly he saw something elliptic, very metallic, and very huge dimension. There was also another sighting he had.
December 15, 1953. 2 years later, Johnson notices a dark elliptical shape hovering motionless in the sky. Suddenly, it begins accelerating at impossibly fast speed.
He saw a strange craft with two exhausts going very fast. It was not jet, and he didn't know what it was.
Johnson made detailed notes and a sketch of that object. He believed it to be approximately 200 feet wide, hovering at an altitude of 15,000 feet and about 30 to 60 miles away. His sketch of the enigmatic object strongly resembles the plane he designed 13 years later.
He mentioned that he cannot explain what he saw, but the most interesting thing is another crew was flying at the same time.
Johnson's UFO sighting was independently confirmed by two Lockheed pilots on a WV-2 test flight near Long Beach, California.
He can corroborate what he saw.
The two pilots both reported seeing the same dark shape and echoed Johnson's estimate of the object's altitude and speed.
We have to remember that Clarence Kelly Johnson was the founder of Lockheed Skunk Works, an aerospace company that went on to design some of the most advanced flying craft in the world. So this was no average engineer. And one has to wonder, was his sketch of a UFO the first blueprint of an SR-71?
It would be incredibly interesting as an engineer or scientist to try to reverse engineer something like a UFO. An engineer can take the knowledge they have and see some hints towards how to evolve it.
Whatever the source of his inspiration, Kelly Johnson's SR-71 was the first of an ongoing stream of ever more sophisticated stealth designs. The SR-71 has had an impact on every military plane in the sky today. The SR-71 is not the only plane whose revolutionary design raised questions about its origin. When the B-2 stealth bomber and the F-117 stealth fighter were unveiled, their flying wing shape was revolutionary. But even more astounding is their lack of radar signature. Due to a revolutionary top-secret skin that UFO researchers believe also to be reverse engineered, the airplanes are completely undetectable while flying. Ufologists immediately remembered the first modern UFO sighting in 1947 when pilot Kenneth Arnold saw unknown flying wing-shaped objects over Mount Rainier, Washington.
People believe that Kenneth Arnold saw a saucer in the sky. Wrong. What Kenneth Arnold actually saw was almost a delta wing shape, almost like a stealth fighter. The craft that actually crashed at Roswell was not a flying saucer. It was a flying crescent. Today's flying wing designs are almost direct descendants of the modified blended flying wing that crashed at Roswell.